We got people all over the realm. What do you know about that? I think it's kind of cool to see where everyone's from. What's up, Familia? Tonight we are going to cover Halloween. Have a great stream, brother. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Disclaimer, man. I'm not judging you. I'm going to cover what's up with Halloween. You may or may not know. It is what it is. I think the thumbnail is hilarious. I hope you guys enjoyed. I smell grabblers. Saw someone say, who made this work of beauty? Dude, it took me hours to make that intro. Like, way too long to make it. Southeast Missouri, North Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, Chicago, Miami, Florida. Don't know where that is. Tennessee, Georgia. Check it out. We got a bunch of people in Canada. You guys just thirsty for any form of something based. I get it. How dare you talk about Canada like that? So what's up, family? Thanks for tuning in. We got Wisconsin. I still haven't accepted your friend request. I actually don't even can't receive any more friend requests on Facebook because I have over 1,000 pending. So yeah, I have to look into it. Pennsylvania, Scotland, check them out. Central Kentucky, okay. Intro is dope. Drop a freestyle over the beat. Yeah, maybe. All right. For some reason, Rockfin locked me out again. So we're not on Rockfin tonight. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with that. Super cool. Trying to look into getting a website and an app. Oh, how dare you. All right, cool. Let's get into the Grizzagrave. So actually, I do have a costume. Not like I went and bought a costume. I don't celebrate Halloween. You'll know why after this stream. But I do have something that would count as a costume that I did consider putting on because it's hilarious to me. But I didn't. If I get enough, let's say if I get enough super chats suggesting that I put the costume on, I will. Oh, you're a sellout. Shut up. If you're a legend, go smash that thumbs up. Exactly what Rachel said. All right. We're going to start the stream off with this right here. This is a quote from Anton LaVey, head of the Church of Satan back in the day. More properly pronounced Satan. And the quote says, by dressing up, either by wearing a costume or by coloring oneself in celebration of Halloween, signifies that you allow Satan to own you. LaVey further says that he's happy when parents allow their children to go trick-or-treating wearing costumes, saying, I am glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out of the year. Welcome to Halloween. Pretty crazy quote. Now, of course, some psychopath, Satanist doesn't like hold power over you. What he says doesn't make something true. Wear the costume. We're gonna need a lot more than $5 for me to put that costume on. But thanks for the super chat. So yeah, it's just interesting. I know a lot of people may not have heard that quote. He says, I'm glad that Christian parents let their children worship Satan at least once a year. And that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. So we're going to look into it. And I think there's quite a bit of gravy here. Anton LaVey accepted Jesus Christ on his deathbed. That's what's up. I don't judge people's eternal salvation or lack thereof. Did my super chat go through? Nah, I didn't get a super chat from you, bro. But yeah, so, Halloween is interesting. It obviously has a history, as does all westernized holidays, which is Hollywood. It's where you get the holly. And that's why it's called Hollywood, and that's the type of wood that witches would use for their broomsticks and wands and other nefarious practices that are too perverse for me to discuss with sticks of wood. But yeah, like I know this is a touchy subject. Any holiday or tradition, it's a hard habit to break, and I feel you, man. I feel your pain because it's like a tradition that comes with family gatherings and family tradition, and then you have to fight am I not letting my kids be kids? And I get it. You know, the way I see it, we're supposed to be in the world, not of it. And it's not easy. I feel you. Like I said, I'm not judging you, but I just want to cover the history of Halloween. So from the mainstream perspective, it seems that we can track this back to the Celtic civilization. Now, this is just a name given to a huge span of people. It's just a name. Right? And so to explain like the why I would even contemplate putting the costume on, I'm not celebrating Halloween. I'm actually in the process of exposing it. And I think that's the important part, right? Obviously, but anyway, you guys would maybe understand if you did see the costume. But so there's this practice where everyone lets their children dress up and they go knock on random strangers' doors and they say, trick or treat. And it's like, well, where did that come from? I'll play a couple videos for you guys in a second, but the trick or treat thing comes from a pretty dark practice. But just on its face, just think about it. You have to watch out for wizardry, like spells. And you have to watch out for teaching your children spells. That's what I think. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not judging you. But like on its face, it's manipulative, right? It's like, give me a treat or something bad's going to happen to you. Right? Like, give me something that I want or I'm going to do something to you. And just like planting that seed in someone's head it's weird, and it's most assuredly overlooked. And I get it. Like, say you have children and they've already been doing this for a while before you find out some of this information, it would definitely be difficult to take it away from them. And like, I'm not judging. I won't be teaching Aaliyah how to dress up for Halloween, but I'm just going to be the father of my child, right? So I said that 3 or 4 times. Everyone, please don't spiral. I just want to ladle the gravy because it's very wild where this stuff comes from. So anyway, if you go back and you look at the Celtics, there's a group of them called Druids. And that's like, as far as I was able to fully track back, like the specific traditions of Halloween. Thank you for doing your thing. I wish I had more. No problem. Thank you for super chat, Kevin. So the Druids, if you look at what that means, it means a knower of the oak tree. Some would say a man of the oak. Now, this is why in occultic circles, oak trees and oak wood is the most valuable or valued wood. Oak. And that's why if you've seen the Bohemian Grove, where they have the owl, where they like do the cremation of care, the little creepy ritual, like imitating, they say it's not real, sacrifice. It's made of oak. They're big on oak. And this tracks back to that's what the word druid means. Probably just a coincidence. Now, this festival is practiced from the 29th of November to the 1st. And of course, in the West and in America and stuff, we just practice Halloween on the 31st. It's called Halloween. Hallow meaning holy. Een being basically a form of Eve. And the Catholic Church took the holiday and made it be a celebration of the priests or whatever. Equally as creepy, honestly, let's be real, if you know anything about the Catholic Church, but that's not what this is about. All right, so I'm going to play a video for you from this guy. Claims to be an ex-Satanist. And we're going to go through a little bit of it. I'm going to talk to you guys while we watch it. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of the stuff he says needs to be corrected, but nevertheless, Christmas was the hardest for me to let go. But wow, it's been awesome not dealing with all that stress. Yeah, Christmas is another one. I've done a stream on Christmas. Oh, yeah. Of course, the number one argument is it's innocent. It's about intention. We're taking it and glorifying the creator or whatever. You know, I disagree with you. Sorry. In the scripture, someone tried to do that. Tried to say, I'm going to take this like pagan, polytheistic holiday of depravity, celebration of depravity, and this is for Yah. And he was like, no, it actually was not okay. So thank you for the stream. This will help out a new FE friend of mine. P.S. Wear costume. Thank you for the super chat. And yeah, I may put the costume on at the end or something. All right, so let's come over here and let's watch this guy's video for a little bit and see what's going on. We'll see. What is Austin talking about? How dare him? I put in the thumbnail. I smell grabblers, and I do. You know, if you guys know anything about this channel, we call out grabblers, man. Don't make it weird. I believe it depends on your intent. If your intentions are to dress up and have fun, it's fine. If your intention is to worship Satan, that's a problem. Thank you for the super chat. Costume, let's go. Maybe in a second. I think intention is always like super important for sure, but I think it's also important to inform yourself and equip yourself with knowledge and then weigh out like what's really you can have fun every year, every day, you know. You can justify anything by saying, oh, well, you know. Oh, I had good intentions getting abortion because they wouldn't have had a great life. I couldn't really afford it. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah 129-31, you shall be ashamed of the oaks you have desired. Read the rest yourself. That's very interesting because, again, Druids is nowhere of the oak. And that's why the Bohemian Grove owl is made out of oak. All right, let's play this for a little. He actually covers that here, and you can just look it up, of course. But let's check it out. And it's on mute. Read the rest yourself. That's very interesting, because again, Druid. Yikes, bro, calm down. All right, here we go.
October 29th is the first day of Samhain, and the second day of Samhain, and it wraps up on what you would call Halloween, the third night of Samhain. Now, Samhain is the Celtic lord of the dead. He is depicted as a stag god. He always has been depicted as a stag god. This is just how they practice in the occult. Now, this is one of the very few remaining reliefs of the stag god that is still out in the open for anyone to see. This one is in the British Isles, and this one in particular, this would be the stag god, but he's also known as Kernanos. Okay, that's one of the Celtic names for Samhain.
All right, we're gonna come over here and talk about that for a sec. Obviously, you're not watching this whole video. I will drop the link, but we're gonna cover that more in depth in a second, and you may be surprised where all this comes from. The stag god. So we'll cover the stag god in a second. Of course, a stag, like a buck with horns, horned god. So I'm going to kind of hit you guys with the more efficient version of some of this. So all of these, now, first of all, if you just have a little bit of discernment, you must admit Halloween is kind of creepy. It's just kind of weird. Like, oh, well, we don't dress up like demons. Okay, but a lot of people do. It's a day in which records like the highest amount of children going missing, children kidnapping, like of the whole year, every year. We have tons of people dressing up like ghosts and demons and skeletons, all kinds of dressing up like devils. It's a very popular Halloween costume, devils. You know, girls think they're cute wearing their devil horns. So on its face, it's just kind of weird. Now, most of the world are psychopath, atheists, sunken in depravity. They have no morality. So what is a devil horn? The devil's not real to them. I hope everyone had a safe pagan holly tree. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. 333, how dare you? How dare you? RV's going to have to cover this. You gave me 333. That's a joke, man. Don't get triggered. It is kind of funny that you sent 333, though. I don't think that the elite have control over numbers. I think they use numbers, but the creator made all things that we express via numbers. And so I don't give them the power of not being able to use numbers. I think that's the trick. In a world. All right, so that alone is kind of creepy. Now let's get into the trick or treat thing. This is a bit graphic in a way. I'm just going to explain to you what happens. So this Celtic tradition, what they would do is, don't forget the sexually explicit costumes. Oh yeah, of course. For adults, it's just a party holiday where all the females dress half naked. That's what it is. It's like Samhain, Samhain is pronounced Samhain, I think. Yeah, everyone pronounces it different. I don't know, but that's the name of the holiday, the celebration. I think I know what your costume is. Do you? Do you think you do? Think you know, bro? So I see 333 a lot. Yeah, me too. I do too. And I don't think, oh, it's the devil. You know. I think the creator actually gives me 3s and 7s as confirmations, but whatever. All right, to each their own. So what they do is they had this practice of sacrifice, human sacrifice. And this is where Halloween comes from, right? That's why it was actually changed to Halloween, because it was so blatantly a demonic celebration that the Catholic Church renamed it. Okay? Graveler mask. So what they would do is they would do human sacrifice. And again, this part is graphic. Okay, so if there are children, maybe you want to not let them hear this part. 777, thank you for the 7s. Yeah, you balanced out the 3s. Thank you for the super chat, Jeff. Much love. So I woke up at 3:33 a.m. for over and over a year and a half when I first woke up to Flat Earth. It was wild. That's crazy. I know what your costume is. It's a globe. Is it a globe? Wow. Thank you very much for the generous donation. Here are some 9s. 99.99. Thank you, brother. That was very generous. Greatly appreciated. You guys might end up making me have to put the costume on, man. But thank you for the support, David J. It's greatly appreciated. Much love, brother. If you have a globe costume, what's it? Oh, actually, Dlive. All right, so again, this part's graphic. I gave you guys plenty of time. Helping a brother bring gravy. Awesome, Dave. Yeah, no, thank you. That was very generous. So they would perform sacrifices, and then they would skin people, and they would put their skin in a pumpkin, or they would use like a gourd, right? And they would put the skin in it. That's where that comes from. And then they would set it on fire. So they would cut it, carve it open after doing that to humans, put it in it, the skin in it, and light it on fire. That's why you have the tradition of carving pumpkins and putting candles inside them and then putting them on your front porch. Okay, this is what it really came from, bro. You should know where stuff came from at the least. You shouldn't be scared of knowledge. I believe intention's super powerful. I'm not judging you. If you think your intention is pure enough to overcome it, that's what's up, bro. I just think that obviously as truthers, we like to know what truth is and where it came from. Being scared of truth is super, super gay to me. All right, anyway, I digress. So what they would do is they would have these like leaders that would be doing this, and they would go around and they would knock on doors. They would go from door to door to door and they would knock. And they would say they're equivalent to trick or treats, which is where you get it. Okay. For $99.99, you must put on the costume. It is certainly a big step in the direction of me putting the costume on. Yes. Halloween. Oh, geez. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Enoch87 Bear. Thank you for support. So they would knock on the door and they would say they're equivalent of trick or treat. We'll get it right one day. Don't make it weird. Yeah, don't make it weird, bro. Oh. Yeah, when we messed up with the songs. Yeah. Yeah, one of these days, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Much love, brother. Commercial sound and video. All right. They would knock on the door. They would say trick or treat. And then when you're inside the house, if you heard that, you were like, oh, man, they got super scared because they picked their house. Okay? And you got to choose. Was it the trick option or the treat option? Now, if you picked the treats, this is what the treat was. You had to offer up someone from in the house. That was the treat. You had to offer up someone to them from in the house, and then they would do a sacrifice. This is the actual tradition from the Druids, which is knower of the oak, which is where you got your tradition of Halloween. So, sorry about it. It's weird. It's super weird. That's why I said I smell a graveler. This is clearly occultic practice in plain sight and on mass scale. It's been commercialized, so now you think it's innocent. Children laugh. Okay, so they would give up someone from inside the house, and they would be sacrificed. The trick option was to refuse to do that. And I know this stuff's dark. I can't even talk about the origins of this holiday without it being like borderline too dark and creepy, which should make you maybe think twice. But anyway, the trick was to refuse to send anyone out there. And so if you did choose to send someone out there and that was treat, then they would put the pumpkin or the gourd or whatever filled, and they would set it on fire on your front porch, and then that would signify that to leave you alone, and that would protect you from the spirits, from the roaming spirits. But if you did not, they would put a hexagram on your door in blood, and then that would mark your house for these spirits to haunt you. This is the actual tradition that trick or treat comes from, and jack-o'-lanterns. Kind of weird. I would say it's kind of weird. Now, another tradition of Halloween, again, this part's kind of dark too, is bobbing for apples. And where this comes from is they would do something that's oftentimes called like Burning Man nowadays. Form of sacrifice, burning people. And they would, every time I start talking, like my throat trips out. Hey, Clearview, welcome to the Miswits. Hey. Thank you for becoming a Miswit, brother. Greatly appreciate Clearview. Welcome to the family. How dare you? So, anyway, they would give you a cauldron. They would have a cauldron of water that was boiling, and they would have apples in there. And you had the decision of whether or not you would try to go get the apples out of the cauldron. While it was boiling, you got to choose, and you had one opportunity to try to get the apple out of the cauldron, and it was like stuck in between these teeth. If you couldn't get it out with one try, then you lost, and you got decapitated. And almost everyone tried because the alternative was to slowly get tortured to death, basically. So it's hard to even cover it. It's so dark, honestly. It's sad. A few years ago, I threw away my light up devil horns that I took out every October. I can't believe I used to think it was cute to to what amounts to honoring Satan. Yeah, true that. That's cool. You threw it out there. You grew. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Goldie. Females love the devil horns. I think it's so cute. Samuel Paul Seckler. Hey, welcome to the Miswits. Let's give him a round of applause. Hey, welcome to the Miswits. Level 2. Level 2 Miswit. Check him out. Welcome to the Familia, brother. All right, so that's just where some of the traditions come from. It can get more dark. I mean, it's hard to even say that without it being like really obviously dark. There's a whole thing about Stonehenge. Is it a trick? If you guys have heard of Stonehenge, the giant stones in a circle, and it has astronomical location as well and use case. And they're like, well, how did they get these stones over here? The closest place with that type of granite's like 70 miles away, and blah, blah, blah. Some say that that's kind of like a trick. What is interesting, though, is according to mainstream archaeology, they found like thousands of bodies underneath there. And allegedly, that's what that actually was used for, was around this time of year. It's just dark. It's just dark. So we're going to watch this video. But what we've covered right now, so it has obviously got dark origin, right? Your question is whether or not you think that it matters, and that's up to you. Druids set up all the Samin, I don't know how to say it, traditions. Don't you find it unique that Renty was getting $500 donations from Samin? No coincidence. That's crazy. Didn't know that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'll email you back, man. I'm still going through my emails. All right. So it's just weird. It's weird, and like I said, children go missing. One thing's for sure: if you're gonna like take your children out, you should definitely be very careful. And there are some like ex-Satanists who've come out and said that certain people, like in masses, they pray and cast spells on the candy and all that stuff. And obviously, the candy has aspartame, isn't good for the children anyway. But that's just kind of a basic overview of some of the traditions. They get real dark. They found thousands of bodies there, a lot of them decapitated underneath that area of Stonehenge. Look at the Celtics over there, kind of near like the Scottish people. And it's actually a really big Roman. And so the question is like, okay, what's interesting is it seems like that's like as far back as you can track in. Some date Stonehenge, like allegedly 2000 BC, I think. So the question is, well, where did this practice come from? Does it have earlier traditions than this? Because if you know anything about the occult, and we'll start covering this in depth, the gravy's about to get off the charts on this channel. And there are groups of people, when we say they, or people say the Illuminati, sometimes awfully, they misattribute it to the idea of a Mason, which 99.9% of Masons don't know anything to do with the depths of the club, Willie B, welcome to the Miswits. Let's give him a round of applause. Hey. Thank you for signing up to become a Miswit, a level 2 Miswit. Check him out. Willie B, thank you very much for becoming a level 2 Miswit. Welcome to the Familiar Brother. Don't remember where I was. Which normally doesn't happen, so maybe I was supposed to forget. How dare you? Oh, yeah. So the people that are in the Masons, they don't really necessarily know what's up. And so, but just so you know, they call themselves the Illumined ones. They think track it back. They track their lineage way, way, way back. And they literally think that they track their lineage back to like supernatural origin, and that they have a greater composition of light inside them. That's what they actually believe. And they seem to not be wrong about a lot of it, just misguided. Because matter seems to be low frequency light, dense low frequency light. I don't know, we'll get into that later. But anyway, differences in the frequency it doesn't matter, we'll talk about that later. But all right, let's watch some of this video. So it was like the original Purge sounds like. Yeah, pretty much. Just with like dark spiritual undertones, like specifically guided spiritual reasons. Crazy. My bad, brother. Nah, you didn't. You're good. When I was a teenager, me and my friends would take Halloween as an excuse to cause as much trouble as possible, truly possessed by it. Yeah, I believe you, bro. Shout out to Pros for Pigs. That's my homie. Halloween is obviously pretty dark. I mean, I can already hear, so like, well, I live in a smaller town that's, you know, like right wing and based, and everyone knows each other, and it's just the children having fun. And their son dressed up like a cowboy, and I'm sure they did have fun. I know that they are innocent. I'm not judging you. I'm just talking about the dark part of it. And the crazy part is that if you, Anton LaVey said, you know, by dressing up and painting yourself or painting yourself to celebrate Halloween, then you're basically saying that you're letting Satan own you for the night, and that he's happy that Christian parents let their children celebrate and worship the devil at least once a year. Now, obviously, just because that dude says that you're letting your children worship the devil doesn't actually mean that's true, okay? I'm not saying that, I'm not judging or whatever, but it is just weird. It's weird. Just like he says the birthdays is the #1 satanic holiday because it's all about self. I'm a god, basically. Anyway, and I will say women are more prone to the spell of holidays pretty clearly. We'll talk about that some other time. I mean, of birthdays specifically. It's mockery for the oblivious. Indeed. All right. Let's play the video. This guy's going to tell you a little bit about what's going on here.
Now, one of the statues of Samhain is, as I said, depicted as a stag god. You notice the antlers and everything. Now, the stag god of the occult world, as has already been pointed out, is nothing else but Nimrod. Nimrod was eventually depicted as a god that had one horn, like Moloch. Some depicted him as having antlers like this stag here. This is just one of those ancient representations of the stag god. Now, during the Nights of Samhain, and the Nights of Samhain came about because of an ancient nomadic people known as the Celts. Now, the Celtic people came into the British Isles and throughout Ireland, Scotland, that entire region, around 900 BC, and basically held all sway and authority in those regions till up and around 900 AD. So almost 2,000 years there, they were in control of that region of the world. Now, the Celtic people, these warrior nomadic people, had a priestly class like just...
He sounds like the priest in Princess Bride. That is super funny, bro.
Any other major culture you can think.
I saw someone say, what authority is Anton LaVey? I just said that he isn't just authority just because he said something doesn't actually make it true. I literally just said that.
Go. Their priestly class was known as the Druids. Now, from the Gaelic, Druid means men of oak. This is why the oak tree is still the most...
He's correct. And if you look up the etymology, it's going to try to avoid telling you that, but you can find it.
...sacred tree in the Illuminati world. And it is the same oak that you will find the Illuminati owl at the Bohemian Grove is made out of. That is a 40-foot oak Illuminati owl. Now, the Druids literally held all sway and authority in the Celtic tribe.
All right. Yeah, I can only watch so much of that guy, but you can check it out. I'll drop the link in the chat right now. The live chat should replay once the video's up. About an hour. It usually takes about an hour or so. Also, black and white seem to have something to do with it. i.e. penguins, orca, and Arctic tern. Black and white are also highly light reflective and absorbent. Interesting. But Austin, how dare you? I know, Austin, how dare you talk about this right now, dude? I did not give you permission to do this. All right, this is what we're going to watch because I want you guys to figure out. We're going to talk about the gravy, which is, what is this all about? They try to tell you that it's just all about the Celtic people. I'm going to come here for a second. Try to tell you that it's all about the Celtic people. We talk about the specifics about the traditions and where they come from. Undoubtedly, the traditions come from super dark things. The occult love it. tons of children go missing here, and it's because it's a mass sacrifice day. It is what it is. It's practiced from the 29th to the 31st into the 1st, and that's just how a cookie crumbles, my guy. I'm sorry, but it's interesting because it's about, like, the deity of this day is like the stag god, or a stag god. And so we're going to look through history. We're going to figure out who is that, because this practice stems long before the Celtic people, which again is just a name about an entire span of area. And I think that's the trick. You look up, maybe if you're like trying to be woke, you're like, oh man, the dark history of, the true history of, or whatever, of Halloween. You're just going to always get the story about the Celtic people. It's deeper than that. And luckily you found yourself here. And the Grabblers did not get away with it. So we're going to expose it here.
God of the Green.
This is covered under the Fair Use Act, as I will be pausing and commentating, and you Grabblers can fall back. Thank you.
Lord of the Forest, I offer you my sacrifice. I ask you for your blessing. You are the man in the trees, the green man of the forest, who brings life to the dawn in spring. You are the deer in rut, mighty horned one, who roams the autumn forest. The hunter, circling around the oak. The antlers of the wild stag, and the lifeblood that spills upon the earth each season. God of the green, Lord of the forest, I offer you my sacrifice. I ask only for your blessing. The name Cernunnos was one given to an extremely powerful and ancient deity that was widely worshipped throughout the world, and still is even to this day. Cernunnos can be translated to mean horned one in Celtic, and the horned god was just one of the many names that the deity went by. His origins can be traced back to nearly every culture throughout time, but the name and appearance changes. Cernunnos, as he's known in Celtic mythology, is perhaps the one we're most familiar with.
The horned god. And yeah, a bunch of these deities track across through every single different geographic representation of polytheism. And this channel will be covering that aspect of history very soon, in depth and with some epic guests. I feel led to now cover that on my channel, and it'll help put a lot of pieces together. So yeah, you see, in short, it is the same person being discussed. It's the same alleged deity, we'll call it, in all these different representations. It's just different languages and cultures representing the story.
He often appears as human, or at least human-like, with the antlers of a stag, sometimes even with horns that we'd associate with a satyr or a faun, resembling the Greek god of the wild Pan, and much like the Greek god, Cernunnos was seen to be a god of the wild, nature and fertility, amongst many other things. Being a deity so heavily associated with nature, he was often accompanied by a group of animals that were thought to be symbolic of the god. The stag, the bull, and the ram. He was also often seen holding a horned or spotted snake. Despite appearing as somewhat human, many believe that he wore a human face, and did not take a particular interest in the concerns of humans. He was a protector of animals, often being called the Lord of Animals, and it's very likely that few hunted in his woods without appeasing the god first. There are those who saw his connection with animals as also being connected to our own deeply buried instinctual and animalistic natures. The earliest known depictions of Cernunnos were found in northern Italy, within the region of Val Camonica, which was under Celtic occupation from around 400 BC. His worship continued to grow in the region of Gaul.
Yeah, someone said it. You get the idea of Pan, and then you get the idea of the goat and Baphomet. This is why the goat, which represents Azazel, was the one that had that was sacrificed, and then all sin was attributed to Azazel. We'll keep going with a little bit more of the polytheistic representation. I'm going to bring it all together for you guys.
Which covered a host of countries in Western Europe, and the images of the horned god can even be found in the French capital of Paris. While digging under the Cathedral of Notre Dame, an ancient pillar was found. It was named the Pillar of the Boatman, and it contains 16 carved images from the Greco-Roman pantheon, as well as some Celtic inscriptions. There is a carving of a man with horns, which has led many to believe that it was indeed the horned god Cernunnos. There are those who would argue that the image could have also been a depiction of the Greek god Pan. It's fairly difficult to read because of the tablet's age and the erosion and damage caused over time, but inscribed above the image in Latin is the word Ernuno, which we can assume refers to the Celtic interpretation of the horned god. It's impossible for us to identify every horned god as Cernunnos, but the image on a pillar shows a torque, a piece of jewellery that was common amongst the Celtic people. It was often used to show a person of high status, and in some other cultures torques were thought to have mystical powers, being able to ward off curses and provide the wearer with protection during battle.
I know you may think this is crazy. Just stay tuned to the channel in the near future.
With Cernunnos being a god that was thought to protect all animals, he can be found wearing a torque around his neck or hanging from his antlers, sometimes even just holding the piece of jewellery in
Do you see the star?
one hand with a snake in the other. One of the most noticeable depictions of the horned god can be found on the Dunderstrap cauldron, where we see him holding a torque and a serpent, surrounded by numerous creatures, a dog, a raven and a stag, creatures that we often see appear in tales of mythology and folklore. Cernunnos was a god worshipped in both pagan and Wiccan practices. The cycle of the seasons in some Wiccan practices followed the relationship between the horned god and the goddess, with Cernunnos representing male energy. The fall symbolised the death of the horned god, as the land and vegetation became dormant during the autumn and winter. In the spring, however, the horned god was resurrected, where he would impregnate the fertile goddess of the land. This interpretation of the horned god and his relationship or marriage with the mother goddess is a relatively recent pagan and Wiccan concept, and was likely not one celebrated by the Celtic people. The ancient Celtic people would have seen and worshipped Cernunnos in a different manner. They would often attempt to commune with the god, seeking to receive some of his power.
I see someone said, do you believe this is an actual being? I'm going to give my take in about 3 minutes.
Dressing themselves in animal skins and adorning skulls to honour the fallen wildlife. There are theories that the Celtic interpretation of the horned god could have evolved into what the pagans believed to be the Green Man, a spirit associated with nature and man's reliance on the cycle of growth that comes with spring. The Green Man sometimes appears as an ordinary man covered in leaves, but sometimes he takes the form of a walking tree, similar to the race of Ents that we see in Tolkien's Middle-earth. Cernunnos at times is a very misunderstood god for several reasons. Naturally, because of his horns and the occasional depiction of a large erect phallus, images of Cernunnos can be misinterpreted as a symbol of Satan. With the Christian church not taking kindly to the worship of other deities, they quickly labelled the pagan following of Cernunnos as devil worship.
Isn't it funny? He just covered what the guy said. What if the horned god isn't evil, just demonized? And that's what this guy's take basically is. And like I said, we'll get into it in just a second.
They did their best to discredit all aspects of the horned god's character, constantly comparing him to Satan as an attempt to make it almost impossible to distinguish between the two. The depictions of Satan at the time included horns that resembled the Celtic deities. We can assume that this was done deliberately, and it certainly created confusion amongst those who had never heard of the Celtic interpretation of the horned god. There are some accounts that associate Cernunnos with the underworld, being somewhat of a guide to the dead. He was able to move with amazing stealth and grace, being able to walk through thickets and woods without being seen or heard. It's likely the way that he moved was considered otherworldly, and thus he was thought capable of walking in between the veil that separated the realm of the living from the realm of the dead. He was known to help guide the dead from their previous life to their new one, where he encouraged them to continue the pursuit of wisdom and happiness. Cernunnos being seen as a prosperous god ties in with his association with the Yule season, the 13th of December until the 25th, what many of us would consider Christmas Day. During this period he was referred to as the gifting stag, a mystical creature whose antlers were thought to symbolise the strange powers of the winter solstice season. It was thought that sometimes he would appear on the 26th of December, where he would encourage those who received gifts to give them away to those less fortunate than themselves. There isn't much, if any, Celtic literature surrounding Cernunnos, and this does lead to a lot of confusion around the god. What we do know for sure is that he was a god who went by many different names in many different cultures. Over the years he's been associated with a host of different things. He was the god of the wild, fertility, wealth, life and death, the hunt, and of course animals. Whether you believe Cernunnos was one of the many interpretations of the horned god, or the original, his influence and aspects can be seen in many different cultures, from Herne, the English god of the wild hunt, to Pan, the great god of the wild in Greek mythology, Pashupati, the lord of animals in Hindu mythology, and even Vles, the god of the forest in the Slavic pantheon. Sadly, Cernunnos is a god that we don't know much about, and the majority of that falls onto the Christian church attempting to erase him from existence. As someone who is quite fond of the Greek god Pan, Kununos is also a deity that I'm naturally drawn to. I don't consider myself particularly well versed in Celtic mythology, or pagan and Wiccan practices, so if there's anything I'd missed, or you'd like to share your thoughts with me, I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below.
Interesting, man. Pan is someone that you find yourself particularly fond of. That's weird. So here's the creepy weirdo that he's talking about. If it loads. And there you go. There's your boy Pan. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. So, Pan, of course, you have Peter Pan built after this character, and you got his ears being super pointy, representing the horns. And what does Peter Pan do? He's this creepy dude that never grows up and goes and sneaks into people's house and takes their children to a secret little island, similar to Epstein Island, where they took little children, and that's what that's about. It's about pedophilia. Anyway, what he doesn't understand is he's baby woke, in my opinion. People are going to get triggered right now, I already know. In my opinion, if you think you got to the enlightened, awakened state where you realize that Christianity is just a trick to deceive you, which I don't disagree, actually. Christianity in its modern form certainly is that. But the scriptures as a whole are that. And then there's either some truth into this, but they're actually good, or they're all just different symbolic representations and stuff like that. And the church lied about all of it or whatever. Keep going. If you're actually a truther, you're going to keep researching. Happy Halloween, everybody. Much love, Austin. Thank you for the super chat. Can't read your name. Bucky. Thank you for super chat. Much love back. All right. So the question was, do I think these characters are real? I'll give you a brief assessment that I have. I think that these are just different names for the same deity, for starters. There's probably 100 different names for it, for the same deity. Now, if you actually look into it, you can get Pan, you keep tracking back, you'll get to Baal, and then Baal, you'll track it to Nimrod. So these are all different representations of Nimrod, or the mighty hunter, the man of many names. Many names. Now, the modern church uses the word Satan incorrectly, as I can see it. Now, as Azazel, all can be attributed to him as it pertains to sin. He made a pact with the Watchers. They came down. And we're going to cover this more in depth in the future, but Satan means opposition. And at one point in the scriptures, for example, an angel is sent on behalf of the Creator as Satan to the Israeli people. So the angel on behalf of Yah is not Satan. It's opposition. You can be Satan. You can be in opposition to something. So there's that. There's this over personification of the word Satan. So you don't take personal responsibility in the modern Christian church. They'll just run around, do whatever they want, Christianity, and say, oh, the devil, Satan, he made me do it. Satan made me do it. Satan, 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 to remove personal responsibility. That's my take on that. I don't want to give too much of the content we're going to cover soon away, but I do think there is truth to some crazy stuff that would blow our mind, including hybrids, crazy stuff that I know that the unopened mind that's not ready to hear it may not be able to fully grasp or can't even hear me say it without thinking it's crazy. I get it, whatever. This holiday, Halloween, tracks back to the Druid god of the day, of the festival, which is the horned god, the stag god, which tracks back to different geographical representations of Nimrod, as far as I can tell. And yeah, there's truth to the character, in my opinion. Anunnaki, Inky, and trust me, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. And we're going to have a pretty incredible guest talk about it. How about astrology being real? I think astrology is more real than astronomy, for sure. I think that understanding the stars is good. I don't think that worshiping the stars is good. And I think that modern astrology is basically like a deception to make the realness of astrology look stupid. So that's basically what I think about that. But so yeah, this is a super dark holiday which tracks back to a specific deity, and it's about sacrifice and rituals and torture and crazy dark stuff. And what they believe is that on this time of the year, the veil, so what they believe is there's a material and immaterial world, and that the veil that separates the two is the thinnest at this time of the year. And they used to have these huge bonfires because they thought that would give a location for those in the immaterial realm to hyper focus on, and then they would be able to easier or more easily transition back and forth, as you could transition more easily via astral projection and different things at this time of year. That's what they think. And they think that there are more entities, spiritual entities around this time of year. And that's what this all comes from, bro. And your child doesn't know that. Children don't know that. The average American doesn't know anything other than eat McDonald's and watch football. Much love to you and your fam. You have really opened my eyes with electrostatics. Please check your email, bro. Gravy bowl on Giants. Oh, nice. I will do. Will do. Thank you for the 555 super chat. I will definitely check out the emails. I'm going through them now. We have to take a trip tomorrow, so I will be looking through everything. I'll look through all my emails on the way. The entire Panera bread logo is loaded with occult symbols in gematria. There's a 666 in the Panera logo, and Panera breaks down into Pan, the god, and era, as in time period, and or Ra, the sun god. That's pretty interesting. I think almost all of them are like about pedophilia. They have sexual undertones, and they're about occultic gods. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Weird world. You guys are super chatting pretty good. I might have to put my costume on in a little bit. Oh, how dare you. You're sitting here exposing Halloween in costumes, and you're going to wear a costume. I'm not celebrating Halloween. I'm exposing it. How dare you? I didn't go buy a costume for Halloween or something. In the world, I can already tell what's going to happen. You know how it goes. Yeah, like dressing up like demons and devils and ghosts and skeletons, and putting skeletons and ghosts and demons in your front yard and on your front porch, and running around knocking, saying the words trick or treats to me, and like having a jack-o'-lantern on your front porch with it lit up with fire in it, or the appearance of fire, comes from dark spiritual practices and spells. Yo, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. The reason they used to dress up like different demons and devils and stuff, the idea was that the spirits wouldn't be able to tell. They would mistake them for other spirits. In my opinion, this tracks back to traditions from when these other entities were like all around the place. Very real, all around the place. But Austin, yeah, no, man. So I know that people aren't ready for this. Like if you're new to flat Earth, you're not ready for it probably. And you probably think you're a special boy. You found out that the Earth is flat. I'm just being honest. If you just found the Earth's flat, you probably think you're a special boy and like, oh, you're so woke now. It's a process, man. And I'm no way claiming I've like completed the process. I haven't. I could be wrong about lots of stuff. I have done a lot of diligent research, though. I've read a lot of occultic texts. I've read a lot of different belief systems, done a lot of historical research, extra biblical texts, Hebrew, Greek, this text taken out, the original languages, cross-referencing them, looking at the anthropological and archaeological evidence that we do have access to, historical cross-references, atheist historian validations of, alleged validations and stuff like that. All I'm saying is when you really deep dive into it, you're going to find out real quick, like, whoa, we were lied to. And we're going to cover a lot of it. We got so much gravy coming up. So I don't want to give too much of it away, but hey, I think it's Jawa. Welcome to the Misfits. Let's give them a round of applause. Yes, sir. Hey. Welcome to the Misfits, Jawa. come on over and kick it with the familia. If you didn't notice, I did put the new patrons in the intro video. Shout out to all the new patrons. I announced in the last stream, which they took the Elon Musk stream down like pretty much immediately, and then they just now put it back up because they know that peak viewer duration is within the first 24 to 48 hours after my streams, but whatever. We're gonna do a thing where once a week I do a Patreon only stream. That way we can all just kick it like private. I'll have like a StreamYard, so you have like 10 links. 10 people at a time can come on there and we'll just kind of chill. Once a week private stream for patrons. And then I'm going to work out something for the YouTube members as well. I haven't decided exactly what to do yet. Jawa in the house? Yes, sir. Oh, well, they put it back up. Yeah, they put it back up right after like peak viewer duration though, right? So. Okay, so much love, brother. We never stop learning. The grace of Yahuwah. Yeah, of course, yeah. So, like, I get this stuff sounds crazy, but what I'm going to tell you is there's some very powerful people that are incestuous and they keep it in their bloodlines. They consider you mundane and cattle. They think that you're beneath them. And they think that they track their lineage back to, like, something that's literally, physically, ethnically superior to you via blood. And they call themselves the illumined ones. Being illumined is a heightened state of awareness, and it has a physical implication of frequency. And this is a belief that isn't completely detached from physics. It applies ether physics, much more accurate understanding of physics than the modern, atomism and materialism. And it's not as simple as hand wave dismissal, or you think you're the special boy and you just come up with vague, overarching, generalized sentiments that are supposed to judge the whole thing. I can assure you it's very crazy. So it looks like this goes way beyond the Celtics is the point, the Celtic group of people. And that's what mainstream will tell you that it tracks back to. And sure, some of the specific practices and traditions that we have, sure, you can track it back to the Druids, which means, again, knower of the oak, which is why they made the Baphomet or the Moloch thing out of oak. Now, what's interesting, right? Druids, knowers of the oak. Bohemian Grove, Moloch statue made of oak. Sacrifice, cremation of care ritual. Well, what is the Druid celebration of Halloween actually known for? Sacrifices of children. What is Moloch known for? Sacrifices to children. What time of the year do most children come up missing? Halloween. They believe it's a satanic holiday. That's what they believe. Okay? That's what they practice. There's an area out in the deserts of Nevada where they do crazy rituals every year on Halloween still. And it's a crazy situation, bro, when you look into, like, why do we have these weird random rituals? Why do we cut pumpkins and put candles in them and put them on our front porch? Because they used to knock on their door and basically say the equivalent of trick or treat, you pick. And if you picked treat, then you gave someone in your family for them to go do their little sacrifice ritual with. And then as a thank you, they would put the gourd or the pumpkin full of skin there and set it on fire on your front porch. It's weird that we do that and we don't know where it comes from. And when we track it, it's weirdo, creepy, psychopathic, demonic traditions. Just look around, bro. Everyone's front yard that decorated, it has a skeleton. You know where the skeleton decoration came from for Halloween? They used to literally burn people on a stake, and that's all that would be left. And they, they're always like doing like this or whatever, like the Burning Man ritual. This is like the Wiccan holiday. And this all tracks into this overarching spiritual opposition to what is right, to righteousness. And it has all kinds of different names, just like Pan has all these different names, but it's actually just Nimrod. And it's crazy when you start to look into it. And we're going to cover it. I encourage everyone to tune in and look at it from a truther perspective, a historical perspective, detach from predisposition, because we know that dogma and presupposition and predisposition is the death of knowledge. Dylan Robinson, shout out to Dylan for becoming a patron. Hey, you will get to be part of the exclusive streams we do every week. Trying to determine the best day of the week and time to do that for you guys. Where does the history you're telling us this evening fit in between the lies of his story they tell us and the truth, i.e. Tartary? I will cover that in the future as well, but Tartarus is actually the underworld, and the idea of like Tartaria being an ancient worldwide civilization is just an idea that people say in the truther community, but because they see, Tartaria on a couple maps, well, it's not the whole world. It's just one little section. So yeah, there's a civilization, as there are many, with many different names that we haven't been told about, but the idea that the whole world is run by something called Tartaria, and that there have been resets every 7,329 years. I don't agree with anything like that. I don't think it's all speculation. I've been here the whole time watching it grow, and it's just like this catch-all. We were lied to about history, so we can make up our own fantastical story. But I will cover what we've actually seemingly been lied to about. Of course, his story is not the actual etymology or anything like that. Like, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we've been lied to. You can't lie about everything. So all you have to do is diligently research all the geographical texts. They can't lie about all of it. It's very unfounded and illogical to think that they lied about all of it, right? And that they were able to fake every single stone we've ever seen. Like, that's what I don't like. I don't like when people do that. James Henry became a Patreon. Shout out to James. What's up, brother? Welcome to the Patreons. I'm obviously not like coming at you or anything. I'm just giving my take. We've been lied to about history, but an inefficient way to go about it is to pretend that all of history is a lie. It's kind of like I have truthers try to tell me Nikola Tesla didn't exist. And then I know someone who has letters from Nikola Tesla that were written back and forth from her grandfather in a safe in her house. No, Tesla doesn't exist. There's no pictures of him. Here's a picture right here that looks fake to me. See, that's the kind of stuff. Dude, we know some of history. They lied about history. They lied about how to interpret history. They did take certain things out of it, and it's a gradual process to remove parts of history. The big deception is lying to you about how to interpret it, but tons of stuff has been removed, just like where the creator's name was taken out of the Bible 7,000 times, and I have truthers tell me that they know the Bible was just written as a deceptive trick to deceive us. I'm like, okay, why they have to take the creator's name out of there 7,000 times though? Why would they do that then? Because if it was a trick, why wouldn't they would want us to know the name. They wouldn't take any books out. They wouldn't mistranslate anything. They wouldn't change all the stories. They wouldn't take his name out 7,000 times. Then they wouldn't say a different pronunciation of the name and all this. It's all I'm saying is there's layers to it. There's layers to all of it. I'm not claiming to know all the answers, but I do know all the evidence points to the fact that there were crazy creatures. They were worshipped as gods. There were gods and demigods. There were giants. There were Nephilim and Raphaim. A bigger group, a smaller group before and after the flood. That there was a civilization that they think they all track their blood to in the antediluvian era, meaning pre-flood, and they think they track their blood to them. And then they've been misnomered or mislabeled as what we call Aryans to an extent in modern times. And I just think it's gravy that we need to learn. They think they think that they're better than us because they know it. So yeah, they definitely lied about history because knowledge is power. It's obviously much more powerful if you're the only one with it. But I think it may be a little deeper than some of us know. Sent you an email to Proton Mail. Selenilian eclipse. Its mechanism above the firmament causing the shadow. It will be my daughter's first birthday. Nice, I'll check it out. Thank you for the $8 Super Chat Transport Inquiry Podcast. SKS Babe, welcome to Miss Wits, level 1. Hey, let's give him a round of applause. Round of applause to SKS Babe. I'm hoping you're a female, but thank you for Becoming a member, welcome to the Familia. That's interesting. I've never heard of like a specific claim. I think like polarization really makes sense to me for eclipses personally. America was totally populated, had very nice, huge architecture. Tartaria is nothing more than the kingdom of Nimrod during the time of the Tower of Babel. There's just no evidence that the name Tartaria is an actual one-world civilization that existed. I don't know why people say that. They see it on a map in one little section from back in the day. There's a couple maps that say the word Tartaria or Tartary, and they're like, oh, there it is. We've been lied to. It's on the map. It must be the one world civilization. I don't see the connection there. Can anyone drop actual legitimate evidence to show me that it was a one world civilization called Tartaria? It doesn't matter because, like you said, there was a one world civilization, and then there was a flood. And then they attempted another one world civilization, and then it was stopped, and they're going to try to attempt another one, and it seems that they will eventually, at one point in time, be successful. Am I going to sit back and say, oh, well, since it's prophesied it's going to be successful, I'm not going to fight it? No, I'm going to fight it. I'm going to expose it. I'm going to raise awareness to it. I'm going to try to wake up as many people as I possibly can to fight it, to prevent it. It looks like that's their plan, and they fight with each other. These families fight with each other, which is why I think people give them too much credit because they're like kind of running around with their heads cut off. They fight with each other to see who's going to have the highest position in the hierarchy of the new world. And that's what the Georgia Guidance was talking about. The 500 million is the vast majority of the 500 million is not people like you and I, right? Maybe a few of us, but as like servants. Why did you return the $51 dono I sent? I didn't, so maybe something else did. I'm not sure. But Javid, thank you for the $5 super chat. And I'm not sure what you're talking about or where it was, but I don't remember doing that. But it'll be okay. Maybe PayPal. PayPal does stuff like that. All kingdoms resemble their mother, the great whore, had many little whores. Babylon gonna fall down. Yeah, true that. Shout out to North Star. Yeah, the basically like the whore of Babylon gave birth to all nations, and they all track back to their mother, Babylon. I would agree with that. That's why I say all roads lead to Rome. Actually, all roads lead to Babylon, right? And you get Babylon, and you get over here to like the Greeks and Rome, and they all lead to Babylon, and then they all have antediluvian connections. I don't want to give it away. I think it might be my next stream that I'm doing. So, well, I guess we have to go on a trip tomorrow, so I don't think I'll be doing a stream tomorrow night. So I think that I might do like a mobile stream sometime tomorrow. I don't know, but I think the really, really gravy stream, one that's coming up, will be Wednesday. Assuming that we get back in time, I'll just do it Wednesday night. Gravy, bro. Heads up. We got some serious gravy coming through. All roads lead to Babylon. It's Babylon. Rome's a knockoff word for Babylon. Like the Babylonian deity for fortune, luck, and prosperity. GAD, God. Back your dollar bill. I would love to share all I've learned about the real history. I have came a very long way in the last 7 years of deeply researching it all day, every day, basically. That's what's up. Share it, brother. So God flooded the earth with mud, not flood. Why wouldn't it say that in the Bible then? I don't know if you're talking to me, but there was a flood. If you just fly over the Grand Canyon, just look at the Grand Canyon from the sky, from a plane. There was a flood. I don't get that part either. I don't get why they say they know it was just a giant mud flood and that Tartaria has taken over the whole world. See, I've been a part of many conversations about Tartaria because it's interesting and there's a lot of truth within it. A lot of truth, there's a lot of research. This story doesn't add up. Look at this. This looks like it might have used to have been a building. I'm not sure they could have made this building. They go too far with that too. They act like they could have never built any of the buildings. But they definitely seem to have been more advanced than we've been told with a lot of it. And it's interesting. And yeah, they were more advanced, and there were orphan trains. That's real. And there's like this power structure that seemingly half of it's under the ocean now, and we weren't told about it. But why we gotta make up a name and make all kinds of definitive claims, like we know what it was called and we know there was a mud flood and all this? It's like, dude, a flood would cause mud. A normal flood, the Great Flood, would cause mud. So I think a lot of it's really not a good look, bro. That's what I think. There wasn't a real flood. There was a mud flood. Wouldn't a real flood cause mud? You have dirt and then water, that makes mud. So if you have a huge flood on the whole earth, you'd probably have a lot of mud. Nope. Every 26,329 years, there's a mud flood and a great reset. Every 26,000 years. Look, here's my chart. I know it's every 26,927 years, and we're 42 years out. I'm like, yo, can you chill? I'm trying to wake people up to the fact that the earth isn't what they think it is. And look, there were actually giants. And they lied to you. And they lied to you about the scriptures too. I don't need to go start telling them all kinds of names of one world civilizations that I don't have evidence for. It's cool. I like that people are open-minded and they do research and they're looking into it. They're not just trusting what we've been told. I think you guys get my point. How dare you? What's an orphan train? There's a lot of evidence that like tons and tons of like orphan children were like, brought in on trains back in the day. It's super weird. Look into the world fairs and like orphan trains. It is interesting for sure. The Tartarians were the people under Genghis Khan, Christian knights of northern Asia, wiped out or raptured. They weren't raptured, man. Babylon, also known in some verses as Shinar. Yeah. Dude, Babylon's like where everything tracks back to. Dude, Wednesday night, assuming we get back in time, the stream is going to be gravy, bro. Gravy. And it's going to be a first step for us to continue on in the future talking about all kinds of gravy. It's like the big thing that has to be covered at the beginning, in my opinion. Yeah, Genghis Khan. It looks like Genghis Khan was actually a Christian. It's been misrepresented. It's hard to get to the bottom of all this stuff. Tartaria and Genghis Khan, there's a connection there. Some try to say that he is the Messiah. He came back, and then people don't know where he is now, or he left. And I don't know. People just kind of like, they gotta chill, man. There's so much information that we need to we can start to discover and try to put together and look at the original languages and compare them to all the polytheistic representations. I'm staunchly opposed to anyone who claims like you shouldn't research the extra biblical or polytheistic representations or like the Greek literature. No, let's read exactly what they claimed about the pantheon. Let's read what Anunnaki, quote unquote Anunnaki texts say. Let's read what the Sumerian texts say. Let's read what all these texts say, all these stories say, all these books say, all these claims are, right? And we'll see these correlating stories. We'll see the connections. We'll see the characters. We're going to put together the bigger picture, because this is our real history that we were told as mythos and we weren't told to really look into. And a lot of it's been hidden and grabbled, and language has been changed. It's been mistranslated, been taken out of the scriptures. We got plenty of work on our plate that we need to diligently research before we just go off into la fairy tale land. And then I'm trying to tell someone the Earth's a geocentric stationary plane. It's never been proven that the Earth's a spinning ball. I know it sounds crazy, and you might think, why would they even lie? But that doesn't matter. They did. So, and here's why. Here's a million reasons why. And then they're going to hear all these crazy unfounded claims, like, where can I get some evidence to look that up? And then they get crickets. They're like, oh, you're just one of those people that, it's a detriment to go too far into speculation station as if it's definitive. That's all I'm saying. Research everything. Yeah, for sure. Wiped out, yeah. It seemed like they were wiped out, yeah. Totally awesome thing. Why did they lame down our history? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, Kai and I was saying, actually, I think during the stream I did with her, I breezed past her point because I was reading the chat. She's making a good point, though. Like, dude, Our Real History is the craziest movie you've never seen. We don't need to make anything up, bro. All you gotta do is just try to figure out what really happened. It's crazy. Dude, I'm like so positive it's insane at this point, and I don't know exactly all the details. I know it's crazy. I know that what happened on this world is wild. And I just try to figure out what's the best we can figure things out. Historic validation doesn't in any way equate to like scientific manipulation or in-person, in real-time verification. That's not what history is. You know, we can look through history, sift through it, compare different things, and we'll just have to figure it out. And it's crazy. I'll tell you that much. Did the Halloween gravy get fully dished? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what I understand from Halloween is all the little creepy origins of the practices I told you about, and how the Satanic, many different ex-Satanists and stuff, or even Anton LaVey himself will tell you that like he loves that Christians let their children practice worship Satan once a year, and that when you celebrate painting yourself and dressing up and stuff, celebrating Halloween, going out and celebrating it, that you're basically like saying, okay, I'm acting on your behalf within Satanic doctrine, and I think it's creepy. And I covered where all of it comes from. Celtic, Druids, Men of the Oak. I ladled some gravy with that, and then, which is why they always use oak. And then the overarching gravy of it is almost like everything else. It's actually a celebration that tracks back to Nimrod, the man of many names, and represented via the horned god or the stag god. So you get Baphomet and Pan and all these different gods. And they basically sacrificed, just like they did back in the day, to Moloch. They did the same thing, Moloch and Baal, or Baal, how you say it. Funny that it's pronounced Baal, basically. And it's Nimrod. And it's a weirdo, creepy, psychopathic, like, demon holiday, basically, of child sacrifice. Hence why everywhere you look, it's like dead people. It's like a celebration of the dead. And you're not talking to your loved ones that are dead, by the way. It's not how that works. Act like they can. They think that this is the time of year where, and there may be some truth to this part, I don't know. They think it's the time of year where the veil between the material and the immaterial, this world and the spiritual world or realm, is the thinnest. And they do everything they can to jump back and forth from each side, kind of like CERN says, who knows what'll come out? Who knows what'll come in? And it's weird and it's creepy, and you should just really consider like the commercialism, the commercialized nature of these holidays are twofold. For one, they get you in this like materialistic mindset, which is terrible always, but it also like kind of creates this layer of like illusory innocence, right? Where it's like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. So that's basically the gravy. The gravy is, as far as I can tell, it's just like, it's an ancient practice that goes back, spans all kinds of different areas. Mainstream will tell you it just goes to Celtic. Celtic's just a big, huge span of people anyway. And it's a practice that's not new. It's about child sacrifice. It goes back to Moloch and all these other people. And at the least, you should equip yourself with this knowledge. And if you're going to continue to practice or whatever, and you've convinced yourself, well, it's just about intention, and it's a tradition that we do, and my children really love it, and I don't want to take that away from them, whatever it is, you definitely need to be very careful about what you're allowing them to do if you're dead set on doing it. And I'm not judging you. Like, I'm here to just don't shoot the messenger, right? Like, I'm just here to convey the message to you. I want nothing to do with it. And Aaliyah will not be knowing anything about. She may know about it. She may at a certain age might teach her about it. But Aaliyah is not practicing Halloween, dressing up, and running around knocking on strangers' doors. That's all I'm saying. Sure gives it a new meaning to the movie Sleepy Hollow. I've never seen that. I don't watch movies. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Blake 1991. What's interesting is Hollow, so basically the Catholic Church took it, named it Hollow, which means like Holy One. Like Eve, like a derivative of Eve. So it's the idea of like them worshiping because there was always kind of tricks and mysterious things that would happen, and like weird, crazy stuff that would happen around this time. And so they always attributed it to the spirits. And then what they did was they took the holiday and called it Halloween, and then attributed it to like the pranks and the tricks and all that stuff. They like attributed it to the spirits, like the priests, good spirits or whatever. I think that's Michael Fraser. It could be Michael Fraser, Michael Fraser, Michael Fraser. Thank you for the $10 super chat. The support is greatly appreciated. Much love. Hey, bud, what's the FE rebuttal to faux cult's pendulum? For one, they're completely inconsistent. It doesn't start moving unless you move it. It's literally engineered to move based on the gimbal. And for it to actually continuously go, you have to have an electromagnetic device in museums. And it does seem to somewhat possess, but just like even Einstein himself would tell you, if the sky moved around the Earth and the Earth was stationary, there'd be a translation of motion from the outside of the sky, the system moving around the Earth. It would translate the motion to the inside. You'd have centrifugal and Coriolis effects, and especially within an etheric background medium. So the FE rebuttal is honestly, most people aren't like open-minded enough and seeking the truth enough to understand it. But like, that's why I used Einstein. Even Einstein himself says that if the Earth was stationary and the sky was moving around the Earth, that there would be a translation of motion to the Earth and it would drag the pendulum around. Albert Einstein. And the reason that's important is he proposed the theory of relativity, which is to this day the explanation for the globe model's gravity. So that is what the globe has to also claim. Google disagrees. Psychos that defend the ball disagree, but they lie. So it's a movie about a headless horseman who throws burning pumpkins. Oh, wow. And it's called, man, that's pretty interesting. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Blake 1991. What's interesting about that is when you did the Bob for apples things, if you didn't get the apple, they decapitated you. And then when they looked at allegedly they found all these bodies underneath Stonehenge, like thousands, and a lot of them were decapitated. So the whole Bob for apple tradition is super dark. Again, cauldron of boiling water. Now we just put it in like a bucket of regular temperature water, but it comes from the tradition of cauldron of boiling water, apples with like stuck in little teeth, and you have to like put your head down in it with your hands behind your back and get it out while it's boiling. Like melt your skin off, right? If you didn't get it, then they decapitated you. But if you chose not to do it, then you got like tortured. It's crazy dark stuff. They did crazy stuff, but why would we be celebrating all these traditions? Why is this like Christian country not way beyond? Why would we not make our own traditions that aren't psychopathic and don't come from like demons and dark spiritual meanings and torture and sacrifice and child kidnapping? Just me? Just me? I guess it's just me. You guys have super chatted quite a bit. I think I might have to put the costume on. Let's see if I can find something over here real fast. I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to read this to you. I'll have to zoom in. You guys can't really see it. All right, here we go. How dare you? But Austin, I'm telling you, don't take away my holiday. I'm not, bro. Do you, brother? Do you, brother, man? Inside joke I have is a brother man with the rubber bands. All right. Oh, what do you mean gay pride month? We just made that. I'm assuming you're talking to someone else. Let's go. You talking about the costume? Oh, man. Right, Austin, we can be so complacent and compliant. I'm guessing, but yeah, it's crazy. Maybe complicit, compliant, pretty much synonym. Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, we got duped in lots of ways, right? 7-Eleven says no costume. Well, yeah, but you haven't super chatted anything. Everyone else super chatted asked for the costume. There's one word in the Greek Testament that adds up to 666 with Greek gematria. That word is tradition. That's very interesting. I mean, I'm not the biggest thing. Gematria can do a lot, but King Solomon got 666 talents of gold. All right, let's read this here. The man stood on the tall crest of the hill, bathed in the rays of the setting sun. He was searching, gazing intently west at the formidable snow-capped mountains that lay where the sun had gone to rest. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. This is pretty interesting from what I remember. The man was powerful. He seemed to tower over the surrounding. He epitomized strength. Any hints for what the costume is? Nah, can't give a hint. He epitomized strength, yet there was in his stance the suggestion of despair. This scene took place many centuries ago. The man was Nimrod, mighty hunter before the Lord, great leader of his people. Of late, he felt he had felled them, for a great scourge was upon the land. The land had gone dry, the game had fled, there was no fish in the streams, and Nimrod's 2 sons had been away for 7 moons. He knew they must return soon, or all hope in finding the promised land of Nimrod's vision was lost. Nimrod remembered well his 2 sons, strong, fearless, great hunters, tireless horsemen. These were the men to whom he planned to pass on his leadership. They would surpass, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, and I can drop the link. This is a story about Nimrod, and it's about the stag, the white stag god. So there are many, many different stories and traditions going back, tracking Nimrod to this stagged horned god. Did you see Joe Rogan tweeted about gravity? No. Every time Joe Rogan tweets about something in this realm, it's like really stupid, just like baseless chanting. But no, I didn't see it. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Weak words. Yeah, weak words are weak. All right, I think I might do the costume thing for a second. I'm really on the fence, I'm being honest. I don't know. I wouldn't feel super bad about not doing it, because only a few of the super chats, like just a couple, like specifically mentioned the costume. I need to refill the apple juice. I'm going to play Kai's song and go refill the apple juice, and then I guess I'll maybe do the costume. So I got 2 minutes and 26 seconds. All right, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Don't do it. Don't make it weird, bro. 2 minutes and 26 seconds break. I'm gonna refill my apple juice and put on the costume. Maybe we'll see. If it takes me too long to put in the apple juice, it's not meant to be. You guys will be okay. All right, let's do it.
Shells, dollar bills, pharma kills that keep you ill. It's like this. It's like this. Tainted blood,
That song is pretty objectively a banger. Crazy generous super chat. Wear it if you want to, brother, but don't wear it if you don't want to. Support what you like or it goes away. Thank you very much, Adam, for the incredibly generous super chat, $150. My goodness. Check him out. What a legend. Support what you like or it goes away. I do indeed agree with this sentiment. Okay, so what I decided to dress up as is a sodomite. Oh yeah. What you guys know about the costume though? It's a full costume. Yeah. This is I bought this to like go to NASA in, and I never got to wear it. To go talk to the we walked in, I think it was actually Halloween like a year ago maybe. We walked into like the mall to get food or something. I don't remember, not to get food, but like to buy something, I don't remember. And this was on sale in Macy's, like in this corner of the store by itself. And it was like originally like way too much money, and it was super, super cheap. So I'm like, all right, dude, we got to get it. I'll use it at some point. And this is the first time. Yeah, sodomite. That's right. That's what I dressed up as. This is the costume. It's called Sodomy. Now you got to put that intro song on and dance. That's pretty hilarious, actually. I can't do that, though. That's too much sodomy for one episode. Super funny. Tell us about the Black Void. All right, maybe in a second. I knew it. It's nice. Pretty hilarious. Nice, a costume, but not. No, dude, this is as far as you're gonna see me go, man. Put this little jumpsuit on, man. I mean, I don't dress up for Halloween, man. I do think it's funny though. You guys gotta admit it's kind of funny. Like it's a whole thing. You got the rocket. Oh, I'm a patriot. If you think we didn't go to the moon, you're not a patriot. How dare you? How dare you? I'm a boomer. You don't even pay your taxes and support the Iraqi war. Oh, we went to the moon, damn it. I'm sorry, that's a weak word. Not really, though. That's like an on the fence weak word. You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. I think so, too. I think it's so funny, bro, because it's so lame and it really, like, epitomizes NASA. All the globe trolls are gonna like take a picture of me in it, put me on their thumbnails. Should have worn that at the Flattoberfest, dude. That's what Kai said. She's like, oh, I can't believe we didn't think about that. You should have wore that in Flattoberfest. Well, maybe to perform or something, do my speech. Super funny. Is that a microphone sticking out of your neck? What? I don't get it. Finally, now I can go to the bed. All right, Flat Earth Karen, thanks for kicking it. Tell us about your flight. Well, what I did was, I don't know why, every time that we go to space, that's what we'll do. We'll act it out. Okay. Let's come over here. Wait up. We're going to act it out. All right, let's check it out. Did you find the Let's Talk analogy? We'll talk about it. Yeah. It's patriotism at its finest. No one does it like America does. We send phallic symbols into vacuums that defy physics. It's almost unbelievable.
Forward fin check good.
This is how you know it's real. Look at this video. I just picked a video of a rocket. What is, that's a cartoon, my guy. We're landing. We are landing, ladies and gentlemen. I promise we're landing. Not straight, but, you know, firecrackers.
Welcome
What can
back
you
to
do,
ship.
man? Hey. Whew. And we have with you WitsitGetsIt just landed off the rocket. Witsit, what do you got to say to the people, man? Well, it was a very exhilarating flight. You know, it's just crazy. I know a lot of you guys mistake me for a sodomite due to my outfit, especially me coming off the giant phallus. I don't know why we build them that they look like a phallic symbol. I don't know why we do that either, but it was exhilarating, 100% real. I know we only showed you cartoon. That's because it's hard to send signal from that far away. Yeah, we did it in 72. It's not easy anymore. But anyway, here I am. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Did you see any stars when you were out there? The world wants to know. I did and I didn't see stars. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on how much LSD we took in the morning. Okay, so can you tell us about your flight? Can you give us a little breakdown of your flight? Yeah, sure. So what we do, I don't know why we do this every time that we're about to take a flight, but I go into this really weird, creepy, dark room. They take all of us into this dark, creepy room, and then they put these virtual headsets on us. And then they start playing these really weird frequencies and sounds, and they make us consume some liquid. We're not allowed to ask what it is. We can't see outside the virtual headsets. And then we get into this like hypnotic state. I don't know. Also, all astronauts have to let them put a chip inside their brain during initial state training stages. So something starts tingling in your brain. I don't know. It's crazy. It's like they get us really amped up. And then I get in this hypnotic state. And next thing I know, the whole flight is just this crazy adrenaline rush. And then, boom, here I am in an interview talking to you. Well, it kind of sounds like you may have been MK Ultra'd. Have you ever considered that? No, the government would never do that, nor would they ever lie to me. Okay? I trained my life, my entire life for this. It's all 100% real. Yes, we wear onesies that have zippers in vacuums. And yes, we jump off of phallic symbols. But this is science, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's all I got for you. How dare you? You see that glitch right there? That was space. Seems nominal. You have to learn the moonwalk? Yeah, that would be cool. I can't moonwalk. Comedy Gold. Thank you. 444. Thank you for super chat. Iran. Greatly appreciated. So I didn't let you guys down. I put on the costume. Here we are. You know, this is the costume of a sodomite. Must have gotten beamed down from the ISS. An alien actually took me down here, but we haven't declassified that yet. National hero? That's right. Bow to me. Dude, you know what's funny is like if an actual like NASA astronaut wore this very thing, they would say like the defenders of the religion of heliocentrism would say it's real. Moonwalking is easy peasy? Yeah, probably. When I say I can't do it, I've like never tried it. This is your best show by far? Well, thank you. I don't know. Is that a compliment? Your wife's going to shake her head at this, bro. It was her idea, actually. It was her idea. But she may shake her head at the attempted comedy routine. You need goggles and snorkels to complete that outfit. That is pretty hilarious. Actually, that's true. I'm already hot and over it. But anyway, we are about to reach the 2-hour mark anyway. And we got to get up early. Actually working on our roof. It's going to suck. The landlord had them work on our roof early in the morning, and then we got to take a trip. But I will be catching up on my emails. I see a bunch of people talking about the emails. So I will be catching up on all my emails. Have a great night, bro. Thank you. Yeah, of course, you too. Yes, it is a compliment, brother. Nice. Appreciate it. Should cut it up and put some fake no. Not putting any nipple clamps on, man. Yikes. Keep it up. Enjoy what you do. Thank you. Much love. Oh, this thing sucks, man. But I know a lot of the globe trolls that are watching are very jealous of my outfit. I don't know what to tell you. You can't have it, all right? You know what I'm saying? Like, go be a sodomite somewhere else on your own. Macy's had it on sale for like, it was like $15 or something crazy, I think. It might have been a little more than that. But it's like, it was like $120 like without the sale. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to get it. Because I was going to wear this into the NASA facilities to interview astronauts. And I never managed to get there. We had a whole bunch of stuff going on in Florida. Thank you. Good night. Yeah. Good night. Send us out with another track. All right, I will. That's how we'll end it. Well, I have the In the Field that I always play at the end. Nominal. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Much love, brother. Thumbs up. Speaking of, smash the thumbs up. If you don't mind. I got to shout out my boy Adam for the crazy generous donation again. And the other crazy generous donation. I don't want to missay your name. You guys are legends. Helping a brother out. The price matches the establishment. It's a joke. Yeah. Have a great night. Yeah, you too. So in conclusion, Halloween is sketchy. It comes from really dark origins, and it seems to be about the horned god, which tracks back to Nimrod, man of many names. Crazy gravy coming soon. I think Wednesday night. It's like going to start the gravy train. Working on trying to figure out how to get a website so we can't be censored, and an app, which is going to be pretty fire if you're honest. Like we'll have our own little app. I think I'll be able to give it to you guys for free. A lot of people say I should you interviewing an astronaut would be the best. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but they probably wouldn't even let me record it. I looked into it, but a lot of people were saying I should charge for the app, but I don't know. We just got to get the expenses figured out to get the website and the app launched and maintained. But I think that'd be cool. That way we don't have to ever worry about getting taken down. It'll have like a player. Like it'll be cool. So yeah, thank you guys for kicking it. Lots of gravy coming. The next gravy stream will be Wednesday. I may do a mobile stream tomorrow, maybe not. I may upload some type of edited video. I'm gonna start editing my debates with short clips that you can share with people. Professor Dave, if you don't know, apparently wanted to debate me as relayed via Bryant, the professor I debated. They wanted to give me $2,000 as like hold money in case it wasn't fair, and they want me to debate with Bryant as the moderator, Fight the Tight Shirt as the host on his channel. And I said, believe it or not, a channel called Fight the Flat Earth is not a non-biased, fair, and neutral platform. I told, how about this, make it $10,000, and if I get interrupted one time, I get to keep the $10,000, or I'll just debate you on a fair, neutral platform for free. So anyway, that's the update on the Professor Dave thing. I'm sure at some point in time it'll manifest somehow. And I'm going to try to get the like nice clips and edited clips out for the debates and parts of the streams and stuff like that. So we'll have that coming here soon. Also, if you can follow me on Instagram, I may go live on there. I'm also on Facebook, but I have so many requests, but I may go mobile live on Instagram when I do a mobile. And so that's WitsitGetsIt on Instagram. I also have Witsit Clips It, which will start uploading like the short clips on there. DFE, speaking of, I knew you were in here somewhere. Thank you for the 12 super chat though, bro. Much love. Do you like my outfit? I bet you love my outfit, don't you, bro? Are you jealous, bro? Are you jealous of my costume? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's right. The coolest this thing's ever looked, man. You should do this again with a green screen. I should. I do have the green screen we have to still put up. I should do this with the green screen. We should make I think like Kai and I were talking, like we should just start making like just comedy about the globe. Like all these like serious debates where it's really reiterative and we're like, oh man, did you not actually hear what I said? Or are you just lying? You know, or we can just be hilarious, right? Because like there are new people that don't know about the Antarctic Treaty. They don't know about the 1955 science fiction novel from Werner von Braun that says Elon will found a civilization on Mars. Because a normal person would be like, that's kind of sus. That's weird, right? Like, what are the odds of one person in the history of mankind being the richest person in the world and him having the same name as the main character's title of the guy from the Nazis put in charge of the moon landing in a book, and he founds the first civilization on Mars, and Elon Musk is supposed to take us to Mars? That's kind of weird. Or what would prove the Earth's a ball definitively and shut flat Earth down for good is north to south circumnavigation coming all the way back to where you started over Antarctica back up on the other side of the ball, but no one's ever done it in the history of mankind, and it's illegal to even try to do so. That is kind of sus. Like normal people would be like, that's weird, that's suspect. That's the real battle, is just to show the information to everyone, not to try to convert them, not to convince them of anything. We don't know exactly what the Earth is, anyone that's honest. Like, we just know that it's not what they said it is. We know that they claim it's a tiny speck of dust that's a ball that spins around in a vacuum. We know exactly what size it is and everything. And they lied. And they portrayed it as science when in fact it's not. And relativity necessitates that you admit you can't even prove it. So anyway, long story short, I think that that's the move, is like, it's talking to new people and making like funny comedy and stuff like that. Making dope music, comedy routines, having cool guests on, ladling gravy, and just elevating above like this low, reiterative, redundant, toxic vibration where in which someone equates intellect to being able to regurgitate what the first Google result is. You know, because that's all it is. They're like, I want to take the Google result, I'm going to memorize it, I'm going to say it to you, and since I can memorize what it says on Google, which most of the time they have to go read Google, they don't know anything about it at first, they say it to you like they're now teaching you and have an intellectually superior position over you, and you're like, oh, I knew that 4 years ago, man, I'm still waiting on you to catch up to the conversation. I don't want to digress too much. My point is we should just elevate, be funny, and have higher vibrations, because like low, weirdo vibrations, it's just going to drag us down. Those shorter clips will help. I thought about doing for you lots of good parts that need to be heard more. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. It'll help. That's time consuming, man. But I'll try and figure it out. It's a pressurized ball in an endless vacuum. Dude, honestly, that's just so stupid. It doesn't even matter anymore. All right. Thank you guys for kicking it. Long story short, Halloween, as are all other holidays, have like really creepy occultic history behind them. Most people don't know about them. More children go missing this time of year than any year. I mean, any time of the year. It's all about like sacrifice and stuff like that. And trick or treat has a dark meaning. We covered all that. It's all about the horned god, ritual, Nimrod, Molech, blah, blah. So at the least, inform yourself about it. You know, and then look at it, at the least look at it with different eyes, more discerning eyes, and be much more like cautious and wise and discerning regarding these things. And at the least, I think we should always inform ourselves about the knowledge, because the whole grand scheme of everything, right? Because we don't just talk about how the earth isn't what they said. There's a whole bunch of stuff we were misled about, a whole bunch of history. Just look at the last 2.5 years, what they did to like the public, right? It's completely unacceptable what they have done for the last 2.5 years. It's unacceptable what they've taught us in history class and science class and all this stuff, right? They've lied to us about so much. And the overarching theme is find out what the truth is, diligently research, turn over the stones, look underneath them, figure out what's going on. Same thing with Halloween. You got to always learn. We felt we were lulled to sleep into traditions, into belief systems where we didn't really question them. Everyone else went along with them, so we went along with them as well. You gotta take a step back and look and see what's going on, and that's kind of what this stream's about. So, cool. Halloween stream concluded. Hope you guys enjoyed. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So who cares what other people think, man? I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm still researching. You don't know everything. You just need to keep learning. You just need to keep researching. Come to teach. Come to learn. That's what life's about. Have a high vibration. Try to show love to people. The Creator is synonymous with truth. So whenever they revile you for His name's sake or for the truth's sake, rejoice, right? And it's easier said than done, but they did that to all the truth seekers and prophets before you. Ryan Zim is on the way to 90 degrees north again. Going to check out Hyperborea in person. Check it out if you get the time. It's pretty amazing. So good to see this happen. Thank you for these streams. Much love, bro. Question and answers. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Shout out to that guy. He's a legend. He went, didn't work, and he's such a legend. He's going to go back and try again. So that's epic. I'll try to look into it. Yeah. All right. So yeah, like I said, just always seek and speak truth unequivocally, man. People are going to come at you sideways. It is what it is. We're going to just drop within the field. I may change it to, honestly, may start using like Kai's song as the outro. I think her song's a banger. She would tell me to use mine, but I think I would use hers maybe. But I love you, Austin, and all the family. Hope everyone has a good night. You too. Thanks for kicking it consistently. Shout out to all the legends that are here. Thank you guys for all the support. If you want to support the stream, you can go to $WitsitGetsIt on Cash App. You can go to paypal.me/inaworld. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel down below and press the join button. And you can also become a Patreon. If you become a Patreon, you will have access to a weekly Patreon exclusive stream. I haven't decided the day yet, but I will be posting a post on Patreon so that you can know. And that's patreon.com/WitsitGetsIt. Anything sent on Cash App, again, $WitsitGetsIt. Or PayPal, paypal.me/inaworld. I'll read them off in the next stream. Send a message if you want to. We're going to try to work on getting the website and the app put up. And that way we can get all this handled, all smooth, immediate. It should be awesome. I want to like really level up, bring it to the next level. We're going to like upgrade all the content, have all the shows put out, a calendar, all the guests. It's going to be epic. You guys know you can tell we're kind of elevating. We're going to keep going. And I hope you guys enjoy. And I thank you guys for all the support in the event and a Miswit, obviously. Yeah, you can become a Miswit by hitting the join button down below. So anyway, until next time, thank you guys for kicking it. Lots of gravy coming Wednesday night. No exaggeration. Definitely want to tune in to the next stream. I think it will be Wednesday night. Crazy subject. Till then, I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl, somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it if news anchors informant to informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this report and ships important. Yes, of course it is what extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?